Another great feature that we have access to in the Develop module is the ability to make snapshots of adjustments we've just made. Think of it as creating a backup of a set of adjustments we've performed so that we can always revert to them at any point in time. Before we get started on the snapshots, go ahead and collapse your presets panel and expand your snapshots panel. I have a couple of snapshots in this panel. Don't worry if you don't have that. That's because I created those earlier. Before we create a snapshot, we'll need to make some adjustments to this image. I'll do a basic exposure adjustment because we know what that means. It's going to lighten the photo. I'm going to move this slider to the right. So I've increased the exposure by plus 2.3. And remember, this is just so you understand how snapshots work. We're not going to leave the image as it is, as you see it now. To create this snapshot, click the plus sign next to the snapshots heading. And you can either give this snapshot a custom name, or you can leave it as the default, which is today's date and the time that the snapshot was created. So I'll go ahead and click Create. You can now see the snapshot has been created in the Snapshots panel. Okay, now let's make another adjustment. So let's say we continued working on this image after that snapshot was made. So maybe I'll just bring the exposure down this time, bring the contrast up. Okay, so we've clearly made some additional adjustments to this image after we created the snapshot. Now watch what happens when I click on the snapshot. It takes us right back, not to the original image, but the original image plus the exposure adjustment that we'd made. To remove a snapshot, you can just click on it and click the minus sign, and that'll get rid of the snapshot that we just made. I'm going to bring that snapshot back, just because there's a couple of other things we need to go over. If you right click on the snapshot, you also have the option to update this snapshot with current settings. So what that means is, say for example, after this exposure setting was created, we did a few other things. Okay, so we made two other adjustments after that snapshot was created. If you want to update, I shouldn't have clicked on that, just a moment. If you want to update this snapshot to include the two adjustments we just made, you can right click on that snapshot and go to Update with Current Settings. And now it stores the two additional adjustments we made. In some cases, you may want more than one snapshot. You can create as many snapshots as you'd like. And that's a great way to be able to revert to your adjustments at different points in time, rather than always just pressing the reset button and going all the way back to the original. If you want to rename your snapshot, right click on the snapshot and go to Rename. And you can give it any other name you like. Another great feature available in Lightroom is the Copy Snapshot Settings to Before option. And you can get this menu by just right-clicking on the snapshot. Before we explain how this works and what it does, it's important to know that you can toggle between your image's before and after state by pressing the backslash key on your keyboard. So watch what happens. That's our original image. And this is the current state. Now say for example, I was to adjust the color temperature of this photo. Watch what happens when I press the backslash key twice. Okay, it goes to the original and the current state. So that's important to remember. But say I didn't want to restore the image to its current state when I press the backslash key. I wanted to restore it to one of the snapshots states. Well, what you can do is right click on your snapshot and click on this option, Copy Snapshot Settings to Before. Okay, now watch what happens when I use the backslash key. It's now going back to the state of the snapshot and the current state. It's no longer going back to the original. So that can be a helpful tip for you when you're making adjustments to images.